Wow, okay, so I started out, I wanted to cover the Middle East. I got interested in the politics of the Middle East. And so when I was in undergrad, and I went backpacking around the Middle East and found an interesting story about land on the West Bank that I ended up writing a magazine article for that was in the Washington Monthly magazine. And I came back, wrote it up, I sent it out to I don't know how many publications, and the Washington Monthly bought it. And then I went to graduate school at Boston University to get a degree in journalism. Oh, I mean, you can get a lot more information from local publications because they're there, so they have the crews, the television crews, they have the reporters. So if you want to know what's going on in Israel, Haaretz is a great source to get online and read, what the latest in the peace negotiations is. Or, I mean, CNN and Fox News are there, but they have a lot fewer resources, so they have to pick and choose what they're going to cover. I mean, it depends on where you're going too. It's hard to cover Syria at all now. Journalists aren't going in there. They're trying to cover it from Lebanon. We had a hard time in Iraq getting from one place to another. Our coverage, was reduced by force, just because we were having trouble getting out of Baghdad. Yeah, I mean, they do a good job. You can get, I think the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Tribune and the LA Times, a lot of the big papers that have the budgets to go there, and CNN, I wouldn't say that they do a bad job. It's good reporting, but it's limited in maybe in scope because of the expense. And so when I'm doing research on it or trying to update myself, I go to the local papers. I took a buyout at the Chicago Tribune in 2008. They went bankrupt in December of 2008, and I started working for a government agency, writing reports to Congress about Iraq and about what was going on in Iraq in terms of how the U.S. was spending Reconstruction money. And I did the public affairs for this agency as well. I did that for about 2.5 years. And since then, I've been working for the World Bank and for aid agencies and international development agencies, doing communications for them. So I haven't been doing straight-up journalism since the end of 2008. Oh, I would love to. I mean, if journalists hadn't sort of imploded, the business model just got blown up completely by lack of advertising and the internet, and I think all of us ended up scrambling. We were looking for a job, and so in my fantasy, in my dreams, there's a position where I can go and cover, and actually make a living, in the Middle East as a journalist. But I'm not sure that that's really realistic. It's been more writing a lot of communication stuff, or trying to find my journalism skills, or use my journalism skills and put them to use in a different format. Yeah, I mean, I would say try to find a niche that you're really interested in and that you're good at. Like I did the Middle East, so you have something that you know really well. It might be a science writer, or it might be health, and also learn everything. So learn Adobe Premiere, and learn photography, and learn how to put video up on the web as well. And in addition to writing, and practice your stand-up to camera. And just make sure that you have all the skills, because it's no longer, just print or just broadcast. It's really a blend of everything. So you're going to be much more employable if you can do all that stuff. I mean, I still think there's a need for journalists, I mean, just because the venue or the outlet has changed maybe, or the way that it's... the business model has changed, it doesn't mean that we don't need journalism. We do. We need reporters out there telling us what's going on and doing investigations. And, so I would say if you are interested in it, don't be discouraged, and just figure out, an outlet. Keep looking and keep working toward it, and you'll find something.
Awesome. All right. Well,